better. Hello, Claytriot. How is it going? Welcome to Technically Clay. Technically a stream. Technically news. That should be my tagline. um, yeah, so let's see. I'm streaming to you today live from sunny St. Louis. Um, it's pretty nice out. It's pretty nice out. Me and my wife are gonna go see a movie later, so get out of the house for a little bit. But obviously a movie is inside, so we, but whatever. Since the last time you saw me, I went to the DSA happy hour or not happy hour, I guess just like social at a bar. Uh, Wrapping up the month of March's Cory Bush campaign, or like canvassing. And that was a lot of fun. I had a few drinks, and I've said before, now that I'm over 30, a few drinks somehow makes me hungover. So I'm a little bit tired today, but that's okay. I still made it here. I'm still here. I got my coffee, okay? Got my coffee. So yeah, hung out with a lot of people, had a lot of fun conversations. It's fun to be around people who have such a who are as unhinged in their politics consumption as me, that I can just go nutty mode like talking about all of the intricacies of the modern political system that we occupy. So that was nice. And then let's see, after that, came back home, went to sleep, woke up, went to work. Work was pretty busy, but that's fine. And then I did work out today. I did chest day. It was weird. It felt really good, but I still went down, I think, in total weight lifted. So I think that I must have had better form than usual or something, because I still felt like I was, going close to failure and stuff. So yeah, that was pretty good. And then I ate a quick meal and yeah, came right up here to talk with you, the viewer, my wonderful, wonderful viewers, my Claytriots out there. Yeah, so I guess we'll just hop right into it. I figured I'd start with this one. Or wait, no, this wasn't the one. I want to start with this one. I wanted to start with this one because this is some breaking news that happened just before I decided to come stream for you guys, stream all over you guys. You know what I'm saying? Sorry. Okay. Yeah, so apparently Iran has shot down yet another F-15. I think according to Iran, they've shot down like 4 or 5. I don't know how many have been confirmed by America or not. I think maybe like a couple have been confirmed by America. And then I know Iran shot down at least one F-35. I think they claimed maybe 2 or 3, but like America, I think only like confirmed 1, if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong on that. You should go check my numbers. But yeah, so an F-15 got shot down, or maybe it wasn't F-15s. It was some other jet or something that they've claimed to have shot down. But anyway, this one was bad because apparently it was in Iran. And apparently the 2 people who were on it are stuck over in Iran right now, which would be a huge propaganda win for Iran. So let's go ahead and watch this, see if what I've kind of been reading in the periphery is correct. And yeah, let's go. This is The Hill.
We're just getting
this
new reporting in.
Oh, that is still too fast. Take 2. This is The Hill.
We're just getting this new reporting in, with both Axios and the Wall Street Journal now reporting that this claim that was made in Iranian state media that an American jet was downed in Iran and that there are rescue operations that have been taking place inside of Iran has credence to it. I emphasize that this has not been confirmed yet by the Pentagon formally, and Iranian state media has made similar claims in the past that the Pentagon and Central Command have rejected. This is the first time that we've seen American reporting corroborating something of the kind. And if that is true, and if the Pentagon does come back and confirm the downing of an American jet in Iran, it would mark the first known case of that since Operation Epic Fury first began. So
Okay, I'm pretty sure that I thought they had already confirmed like another F-15, but maybe it wasn't in Iran. Maybe it was over Iraq or something. I thought that they had confirmed others. Let me see. Confirms F-15 hit. Well, of course, all the news is going to be for today. Let me just Google how many F-15s has Iran shot down? Maybe that'll work. 4 F-15s, 2 F-16s, 2 F-35s is that's what Iran is claiming. But all the news right now is for this one, so it's hard to find the record of which ones America has confirmed or not. But like I always say, it's usually somewhere in the middle. So I would guess like a couple F-15s, an F-16, and at least one F-35. I thought Iran had said like 3 or 4 F-35s, but I guess maybe not. But yeah, this is terrible. This looks awful for America. America, the whole premise of America is that, especially in modern warfare, is that we rely entirely on an air force. Like we do not have like, I mean, we do have the capability to do like a ground occupation or whatever, but we don't have the political will to do a ground occupation. So America is just entirely based around like bombing things from afar so that we don't have to deal with that fact that we don't have the political will to wage any sort of long war anymore. And every single one of these where like Iran's, I mean, I'm going to be honest, like pretty bare bones, like shitty air defenses, knocks down one of like the most advanced pieces of American military like aircraft that has ever existed or whatever. Like, you know, the F-35 was $1 trillion project, right? like it was insane how much money was, or yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, like $1 trillion was spent on developing, like the process of developing it. Now, obviously, that's not how much it actually costs to develop one. That's just all of our contractors just skimming, you know, super profits off of the top. But yeah, this anytime this happens, it like puts a huge dent in America, in America's like military force projection, especially because everybody knows at this point that America has no political will to do actual ground operations. So yeah, this is kind of wild. And also if Iran does end up capturing the 2 people, then that would obviously be another propaganda win. That's kind of like less important though, but like that's just like another like bargaining chip that they would have, I guess. And it would just make America look stupid. But in the end, America looking stupid is less important than the military industrial complex being unable to do like the one thing that it's supposed to do with its like insane amount of money that goes into it. So yeah.
This is something we're going to continue to monitor here. It would give indications that Iran still has capabilities that they are operating with, which is why you have seen added pressure here overnight to knock out Iranian infrastructure and launch capabilities. We saw the B-1 bridge in Iran, the tallest bridge inside of that country, being hit by American forces, with the president saying that you can anticipate more infrastructure sites to be targeted.
That's a war crime, but you know what? We don't even, that word it's gone. Wipe it from the dictionary. Get the military censors to go edit all of the dictionaries and remove the words war crime. It no longer exists, everybody. If you think you've heard that word before, you're lying. You're telling an untruth, and you're going to be put into the chair to forcefully make you forget that the terms, the 2 words war and crime could ever be put next to each other. It's gone, everybody. The era of international law, and this was kind of like what a lot of us lefties, us crazy lefties, were saying after we watched what was happening in Gaza, is that this is going to destroy the entire concept of international law for the foreseeable future. And that's like, it's one thing when you're on the delivering end of it, right? Which we generally are, on the delivering end of the war crimes. However, it's going to be another thing when we're on the receiving end of the war crimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially, like, you know, they've legalized hitting infrastructure, obviously, like that by our actions have legalized hitting infrastructure. So Iran can hit infrastructure, or Iran will hit infrastructure. And they'll hit the salination plants or whatever, like the things that people need to survive. Like, so this is the world that we created for ourselves. Fortunately for average Americans, we have big, beautiful oceans on either side of us that make it near impossible for any country to come do actual war crimes to our civilian populace, which is one of the reasons that we feel so much impunity or whatever. But yeah, that's the world we live in now. Sucks to suck, I guess.
If Iran does not make a deal. But Iran has since lashed out around the region. These are images out of Israel overnight, in which we have seen impacts here after Iran, Yemen, and Hezbollah in Lebanon have all launched attacks against Israel. Around the region, the damage is more severe, however. Out of Kuwait, we know that an oil refinery as well as a power and water desalination plant were struck. And then in Abu Dhabi, authorities there say 12 people have injured, one of them severely due to shrapnel from Iranian launches. So it has been a very dynamic day here in the Middle East, with no indication the cadence is slowing here.
Yeah, and all of those countries are downplaying their numbers because it's necessary for them from a strategic perspective to do that, because their entire like economies are basically based on the idea of them being rich little Western countries in the Middle East, for all of our pedo elites to go engage in, you know, the occasional the occasional sex trafficking ring or whatever, and not have any consequences. Like, so their entire brand image requires them to downplay the amount of like deaths or whatever, or damage just in general. So whatever we're getting from these countries about what they're saying, just know it's like, you know, 2 to 3 times worse. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the next big story of today.
Courtney.
Ooh, guys. What could go wrong, right? What could go wrong? Well, Pete Hegseth, you know, he has purged every woke person he could possibly find, every woman he could find, every black person he could find, every non-white Christian male. He has purged them all from the military. But it turns out that maybe there's still a few woke warriors out there that he needs to go after, And apparently one of his top army officers was one of them. So Pete Hegseth, you know, the purge continues. And we got one more army officer out of there. So let's go ahead and see what they're saying about this. Then I'll give my opinion.
Courtney, this Army, can we call Army Chief of Staff? It is a shakeup. He did get fired based on what you're reporting is what's going on.
Yeah, it's absolutely a shakeup. So he is the senior-most 4-star general in charge of the U.S. Army, the Army Chief of Staff. He's been in the job since September of 2023. He's supposed to be there for a 4-year gig. But the reality is there have been rumors that Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth was going to fire him for some time.
Predating the war?
Precisely, predating the war. And basically this is Secretary Hegseth is going after people and has been since he was since he was confirmed into this job and sworn in. He goes after people who have any kind of ties to DEI, have any ties to the retired General Mark Milley.
I mean, that's exactly what I just said, right? I mean, I'm joking. Like, obviously, he hasn't like purged literally every black person and every woman from the military, but like that is what he wants to do, essentially. So.
And the previous administration, and that's where Randy George fell in here, the Army general. He worked directly as the senior military aide for the former Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin. So the reality is he has been in the crosshairs with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth for some time. But I cannot stress to you enough the idea that the Secretary of Defense just fired the head of the Army, the 4-star general in charge of the United States Army while the U.S. is at war, is for nothing to do with the war, by the way, is so beyond unorthodox.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give my opinion. I was gonna wait till the end, but yeah. So like I said, I was really joking about the whole DEI thing. I mean, obviously, he is trying to purge the military of anybody who is not like pro like the white supremacist vision that he and Donald Trump and Stephen Miller have for the American military. Like that is the case, and he has been doing that just throughout his entire career now as the Secretary of War Crimes. Now, that being said, I think that what's happening here is he's probably starting to get a little bit of pushback about the what he wants like to do from just an operational perspective. And there could be multiple reasons for that. Okay. Number one, he like the most obvious one is they're planning on doing a ground invasion, and the head of the army thinks it's going to be like a bloodbath, and he doesn't, and he's trying to say, no, I'm not sending my men in to do that. And then Pete Hegseth says, well, then fuck you, get out of here. Like, so that's like option number one, which is kind of what I'm leaning towards. Oh God, now I forgot where I was going with option number two. I'm sure it'll come back to me at some point, but yeah, that's kind of what I think is probably going on. Yeah, I don't know. I had another option, and it was somewhat important, I thought, but I don't know if it's important enough. I'll remember, but yeah, I wouldn't say that like that it was for nothing to do with the war. I think that's a little bit of an like I think that's just a little bit of a cope if you had to ask me. I guess I don't need the closed captioning on.
So we are just getting in a statement from the Pentagon. I'm going to show you off of my computer too, because it's literally just coming in as you're speaking here. But the general confirming that he will be, they say retiring from his position here, effective immediately. We've got the statement up on screen saying that the Department of War, that's what they call it, is grateful for General George's decades of service to our nation. We wish him well in his retirement. To your point, Courtney, they're framing it as a retirement. It's in the middle of this war against Iran. Does this operationally, do we know even what this operationally means for the actual strikes, attacks, targets that they're trying to hit?
Probably nothing. I mean, I don't think this will have a direct impact on what we're seeing the U.S. do in Iran right now, or even the strategy going forward or anything like that. But the reason that something like this normally would not happen is because it just conveys to an enemy like Iran a sense of chaos, a sense of uncertainty, or potentially even weakness. It is just simply not done. And again,
well, I saw some Iranian state media on X of them just memeing on it. They're just saying, the regime is changing, I guess, and then like showing all of these people who are getting purged from the military. So, yeah, they're just kind of memeing on how incompetent our government is. But yeah, I think that this in particular has put me over the edge. I was 50-50 on whether we were going to a ground invasion or not. Or maybe I would say I was 60-40 before. So I was already over the edge. But this bumps it up a little bit higher to me, that maybe like a 70-30 that we're going to actually do the ground invasion. So because that's just what I think happened. I think that he was yeah. But anyway,
if in fact something like this does happen when you're in the middle of a conflict, it would generally be because there is some specific tie to the conflict. The individual was seen as having done something wrong or immoral or whatever it is. In this case, the officials who we're speaking to said it is because of his ties to the former Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin.
And the officials you're speaking with also say it's not a retirement, right?
Well, he has to retire because he's a four-star general. So if he doesn't have another job to go to, which he doesn't, he's forced to retire.
Got it. Okay. Courtney Kuby, great reporting from you and the team. Thank you. Come back as we are learning more about this. As you say, it is not nothing. That's for sure. Thanks, Court.
We thank you.
Yeah, I'd say prepare for the meat grinder, everybody. Prepare to start funneling all of our, I don't know what age it starts, 16 to 20-year-old boys. We're going to throw them all into the meat grinder. We're going to grind them up for parts. Grind them up for super mega profits for our pedo billionaires, everybody. That's what I think is going to happen. So be prepared. Be prepared. Okay. What do we got? Let's go ahead and watch this one. We'll check in on Iran. This is On the Ground, Massive Explosion Rocks Northern Tehran by France 24 English. So, you know, I sometimes, I don't very often go over all of the, you know, the military operations that we're doing. Sorry, man. Ooh. Doing against Iran, because a lot of times, you know, they're very war crimey and make me pretty sad. But I don't know. I figure I'll go over this one here. We'll see what these latest strikes look like. Also, before I get into this, though, I did see an update that says one crew member was rescued, apparently, from that F-15 downing. So I guess that's good. And but one crew member is still, it says still alive in Iran. So that's not good. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and watch this video.
Can cross now to Tehran and speak to our correspondent, Reza Saya. So, Reza, I understand some loud explosions have been heard near the capital. How have you been, and what more can you tell us about those strikes?
Yeah, just about an hour ago, a massive explosion near the Velenjak neighborhood in northern Tehran. The explosion was so strong, we felt it here 15 kilometers away. We're working to confirm the target of that bombing. Earlier today, state media reporting that Iranian air defense system.
Yeah, they're hitting a lot of, I've heard a lot of schools lately, or like universities. And then obviously just the normal atrocities of targeting hospitals, targeting Red Crescent ambulances, targeting medical infrastructure, you know, general civilian infrastructure. We're just doing the same old, the tried and true American playbook of trying to like harm, mutilate, kill as many civilians as possible. That's just because we can't apparently fight an actual war against, you know, actual insurgents. Same with Israel. They can't fight an actual war against actual insurgents. So they resort to just killing as many civilians as possible, because, hey, at least if you kill that many civilians, that target number keeps ticking on up, baby. That's progress. We're making progress. We're not in a quagmire. The number keep going up, everybody.
Shot down an American F-35 fighter jet over central Iran. State media showing pictures of what were purportedly the remains of the jet. No comments from Washington and no word on the whereabouts of the pilot. State media reports that a search is underway. In the meantime, more evidence that U.S. and Israeli airstrikes are going after non-military targets. You saw in that report earlier in the city of Karaj yesterday, back-to-back airstrikes hitting the longest bridge in the Middle East, 9 killed, more than 90 injured. After the bombing, U.S. President Donald Trump cheering the bombing.
Okay, so you hear those numbers, 9 killed and 90 injured. What if I said over and over again that if there are like 100 people injured, there's going to be 10 killed on average? It's a 1-to-10 ratio. You'll notice that whenever America comes out with how many people are injured, or whenever these Gulf states come out with how many are injured, or Israel as well for how many are injured, the number that are killed is always significantly lower, like than that 1-to-10 ratio. Usually it's like a 1-to-30 ratio or something, like 1-to-20, 1-to-30. This is accurate. If you hear like, and that's why I always say you can trust the Iranian, like you can generally trust the Iranian reports more than you can the American and the Israelis, because they have less incentive to lie about these sorts of things. They want to present themselves as the victim of this aggression, but they also don't want to be like, you know, if they lie, it'll eventually come out and then they will lose trustworthiness. It's the same with like what happened with the Ministry of Health in Gaza, right? Where they have always been accurate in every conflict with Israel. The number of injured and killed or whatever has always been accurate. And then, but then they're claimed to be lying. But they're more accurate than the Israelis and stuff. Like, so I don't know. Just that's why I would say generally you can trust Iran's numbers in these types of situations way more than America's.
social media post. Other non-military targets hit in this conflict, civilian airports, hospitals, steel factories, and Tehran's Pasteur Institute. This was a 100-year-old medical research center established in partnership with France back in 1920. Today, Iran's foreign ministry condemned the bombing, saying there are clear violations of international law.
And Reza, Iran has also launched attacks at its neighbors, one of those targeting Kuwait.
Yeah, Iran has stated its position. It says, U.S. and Israeli forces attacked our industrial and economic infrastructure, and now we are doing the same. And that's clearly, why Iranian missiles are targeting industrial hubs.
But even when they do it, it's significantly Iran, I guess, understands that killing civilians does not give you any sort of strategic victory. It's something that I wish that America and Israel would learn. Killing civilians does not give any strategic victory. So they are only doing this as a deterrence measure for America. I don't think they even think that hitting civilian infrastructure is going to lead to any, strategic outcomes necessarily. I mean, maybe a little bit, I guess, because those places they're not set up for an asymmetric style, hunker down and take it until it's over, situation. So there might be some, strategic importance to that. But in general, I think that Iran feels that the most important thing they can do is take out the bases, take out the satellite, the geopositioning, stations and stuff, and hit as much military infrastructure as possible. And I think that that's generally what they're trying to do. But they will engage in tit for tat stuff as a measure of deterrence against America, to be if you hit us here, then we'll hit you there, sort of stuff. But
in Kuwait, Bahrain, and the Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Israel. And this is obviously a dangerous cycle of violence where the two sides are trying to punish one another while a lot of civilians are being impacted.
Now, Reza, a French-owned container ship has managed to transit the Strait of Hormuz. That's according to marine traffic vessel tracking data.
Guess who made a deal? Guess who made a deal? That's Macron, right? France president. Is it president or FM? I always forget. Macron, yeah. Macron must have hit up Khamenei on the side, dude. He was like, yo, bro, man, this shit's wild, dude. What you say, you let me through that strait, know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That's what Macron was doing on the side.
And it appears...
And Iran's like, brother, I mean, I guess, as long as you don't materially support the American empire, I guess I can let one through. Man, that's crazy.
To be the first passage to marine traffic vessel tracking data, and it appears to be the first passage by a major European shipping group since March 1st, when Iranian attacks in the region reduced crossings through the strait to a trickle. So this ship from France's CMA CGM group, some ships that have passed have paid a toll. What more do we know about this particular crossing?
Tehran says moving forward, this is how things are going to work in the Strait of Hormuz. It's clear that Iran is taking military losses, but one major card it has gained, it's that chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz, which has impacted the global economy. Iran's position is, you attacked us, and now if you are allies with the enemy and you have ships that want to get through the Strait of Hormuz, you have to pay a fee, and here you have a French ship paying the fee. And again, Iran says moving forward, this is how it's going to be.
So I guess they paid a fee. I don't know if that's reporting from them or if they're just assuming or what, because I thought all countries who are seen as allying with America were not going to be allowed to pass at all. So that's why I'm saying I think on the side, Macron made assurances with them, hey, we're going to be completely neutral. We won't partake in some military effort to open it up or whatever. We're just going to be completely neutral. So you mind if we get some oil through there? And I bet at that point they were just like, sure, pay the $2 million and you can go through. But if you do, if you do end up going back on your word and like aligning with America in their ambitions in the region militarily or whatever, then we reserve the right to stop allowing your ships to go through. I bet it was something like that if I had to guess. And we're going to start seeing a lot more of this, people, because there's nothing that they can do. If America can't open it up, then nobody can open it up. So we're about to see a lot more people. Keir Starmer, he's talking a lot of talk about some like mission of like they're going to send people over there to like once the war is over to secure it. Nah, brah, that ain't happening. You're going to negotiate with them, and then you will be allowed to get your oil through. And a part of that negotiation is going to be you must agree to not help or align with America at all in this conflict, or like in this region, or not follow American sanctions on us or something, right? Like you must pay in dollars or like in yuan or stuff that's outside of the Americans' control in terms of in terms of sanctions or whatever. Like I bet there's going to be a lot of that as well. So yeah,
clear leverage Iran has today, and that it can use potentially if any negotiations happen moving forward.
Reza, thank you so much for keeping us updated with the latest on what's been happening. That's France 24's correspondent in Tehran, Reza Sayed.
I mean, Iran, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They planned this out. It's we don't get to see it very often from America, like in America. People actually planning, planning and executing the plan that they have had for like 30 or 40 years, right? Like we in America don't get to see that often. So it's crazy when like Iran actually does it and they're just like, yeah, this is what we're planning to do and this is what we're doing. But okay, I'm going to go ahead and go to this other one that was on my title. I feel obligated when I put it in the title. It's got to happen. So guys, there's a new epidemic going around. And it has to do with teenagers. That's right, baby. We're going right into some Fox News hysteria. Who's ready for some hysteria, people? Man, I'm sure this one is going to be wild. Ooh, they got a ton of hashtags. I need to do more of that on my stuff. Okay, so yeah, apparently Fox News has. I saw a video like pop up on my feed. I didn't watch it, about teen takeovers or something is what they called it. And I guess like teens are like this is from what Fox News is saying. Teens are like taking over, I don't know, public like malls and stuff or something. This is just some classic old people propaganda shit, or like old people paranoia shit. To get their boomer audiences just scared to go outside even more than they already are, try and get them to keep Fox going, for like keep the news on and just never leave the fucking house, and like shoot any DoorDash driver who comes within 5 feet of their door. So let's go ahead and watch this video. We'll see what all the hysteria is about. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, maybe it's not hysteria. Maybe this is a completely real problem that real people are actually really concerned about. So, and not just a distraction from Iran and the Epstein files. But who knows? We'll see. That looks scary. Do you see all those teens?
So we're going to focus here because tomorrow, Good
Teen
Friday
takeover.
for Christians around the world.
I'm also noticing a lot of black people, which, Fox News, they love to fearmonger about black youths in particular.
It's also Passover. This holiday weekend sometimes can be 3 days for people. And look at what happens on some weekends. Teenage takeovers that out of Chicago, taking the country by storm, wreaking havoc and putting other...
You'll notice something. Like I already said it, but you'll notice something about all of the people that they're showing that they're showing on screen right now. You'll also notice who they decided to report this right now as well. One might say that Fox News is engaging in the act of using their reporters as human shields right now. It's putting this black lady in charge of reporting on this news. But okay, let's keep going.
Others at risk. A mob damaged nearly 30 cars as they descended on the city's Hyde Park neighborhood. Beautiful area, by the way. Jumping on rooftops and breaking windshields, one person arrested there. Washington, D.C. also has seen teenage takeover chaos. The city council postponed a vote on extending its emergency curfew, which means it's now set to expire this month. U.S. Attorney for the district, Janine Pirro,
Why did they have one?
That is a horrifically bad idea.
What? Why are you limiting my freedom as an American to go outside and hang out, at whatever time I want? I thought this was fucking America, bitches. I thought we had freedom. I thought we had freedom of movement. Apparently not.
Don't believe
Curfew. Come on.
that these young people need to be treated as criminals.
Oof.
They are committing adult crimes. There can be shootings and carjackings and robberies and all kinds of crime. And then all of a sudden, we're surprised to see them committing a murder. The D.C. Council protects these kids, and they are creating the criminal violence that doesn't allow us as prosecutors to go in and treat them as the criminals that they are.
Okay, so this must be the real point, right? This, maybe they're trying to get more leeway to charge, children as adults. I would guess is kind of like the vibe that I'm getting here as to like what their propaganda purposes of this non-story that they're talking about. For those unaware, America has does this a lot, where they charge children who are just kids. Like they are kids who, they're not full-fledged adults. Their hormones are going crazy. And yeah, sometimes they do stupid shit. And they charge them as adults so that they can put them in jail for a long. And I'm not saying that there's not any crimes that they should do that for. I would say property crimes, no. Come on. Property crimes, really? You're going to throw a kid in jail, like ruin their entire fucking future for engaging in like a property crime? Come on, no. But obviously there are some where it does make sense. Especially if they're in that 15, 16-year-old range. If they do a heinous act, then yeah. However, I already know it's already disproportionately used, like this trying them as adults. It's already used disproportionately against black people. Go figure, right? A lot of people seem to think this is just a bias that, we as people who live in a white supremacist society have, of seeing young black people as older and more intimidating or scary than they actually are. That's just something that everybody in society has been propagandized to believe to one extent or another. Some people, I like to think that I've broken through a lot of my propaganda that I've been told, but nobody's immune to propaganda. We all have biases and stuff or whatever. But anyway, that's where it's going to be used a lot. And that's why it's also no surprise the background footage that they're showing for this is just all black people. And it's also just to, like I said, get all of their white boomer audiences to go into fits of hysteria.
This is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner, here with my co-host Kayleigh McEnany. Also joining us today, Laura Trump, host of My View with Laura Trump, fantastic, and Rosanna Scotto, Fox 5 and New York anchor and host of The Underground Economy on Fox Nation. Guy Benson is here, Fox News political analyst and host of The Guy Benson Show on Fox News Radio.
Yeah, okay, so yes, you are outnumbered here. I'm sorry to say. I mean, I guess it's not that abnormal. Fox News doesn't usually like to, put two. Why put two black people on a panel when one will do just fine in terms of deflecting against all the criticisms of racism that I'm personally lobbing at them? Why you only need one? Come on, am I right, people? That's what they're saying anyway.
Well, this trend is spreading to major cities,
I'm
small
sure.
towns alike, even Glendale, Wisconsin, where more than a dozen spring breakers were arrested when a mob invaded a mall and started multiple fights. Wisconsin lawmakers were warning they couldn't just shrug this incident off. Well, it seems like, Laura, that this is a no-brainer, right? This shouldn't be hard to adjudicate.
Okay, so if this is spring break time, if all of this is happening in spring break time, I think that my guess would be that there's just a lot of drinking and partying and people being outside or whatever that is just leading to chaotic scenes or whatever. And also, I never believe just like individual anecdotes or whatever. Like, I always want to see the stats of like if this is actually something that's going crazy, and also, or like if this is like an actual thing to be concerned about, which I'm pretty sure it's not. But and also, your guy's in charge. I thought crime was solved. I thought there was no more crime. So like, what's going on here?
Heard Janine Pirro there, U.S. Attorney for the district, the D.C. district. What do you think is the inertia around consequences here?
Well, I think consequences, that is the key word of all of this. And I think this is a symptom of a bigger problem, which is that there's been very little accountability when it comes to criminals in general, especially.
Hey, don't criticize my big, beautiful president like that. How dare she? How dare she say that Trump isn't, that Trump is just letting this happen, that Trump isn't going after criminals like this? Come on. Do you know where you are? You're on Fox News. How dare you claim that?
Blue areas around this country. Look at a place like Washington, D.C., where you have Muriel Bowser saying, I want that curfew in place. You saw crime drop whenever law enforcement was actually able to do their job. When President Trump brought in the National Guard, crime fell throughout the bottom there. And the problem is you have so many of these kids understanding they won't be tried as adults. They're going to be tried as juveniles. They're not going to have any accountability.
That's the talking point.
They see adults going without consequences as it is. So what do you expect to happen? We need a dose of tough love for these kids. They need to be held accountable because this is their future. This is the future of our country.
AKA, we need more. We're running out of slaves in our slave labor camps, right? Our prison slave labor camps where they are forced to work for $0 and profit. Give all of the profits to their slave owner masters at the prisons, right? We need more slaves in our prison slave labor camps, and so if we can charge more people as adults, then that means we get more slaves, more labor workforces that are forced to work for free. That's kind of what I think is going on here.
Country, Harris. But sadly, this is the case in so many areas around America.
So you mentioned her. D.C. Mayor Bowser says, quote, I am deeply disappointed by the council's decision to allow the juvenile curfew zones to expire. As adults, we cannot abdicate our responsibility to respond to behaviors that put young people or our community at risk. I urge the council to reconsider. So you've got the mayor there, Guy.
The mayor is less left-wing than the city council. And this is an important point. Mayor Bowser, I live in the D.C. area, has not been a good mayor. There's been a real regression in D.C. over the last decade plus in a lot of ways. But she is less damaging, policy-wise, than the very left-wing city council. She announced a few months ago she is not going to seek re-election this year. So there'll be a new mayor in D.C. And I think it's important to remember it can always get worse. Here is Mayor Bowser begging for this curfew to stay in place. She's being overruled, apparently, by this left-wing council. And if you don't think you can downgrade from a Muriel Bowser in D.C., I offer you Exhibit Johnson, Brandon in the city of Chicago after Lori Lightfoot. It can get worse if voters decide to make it so.
Rosanna?
I was just going to say, these are social media events for these kids. They're dying to be around their friends. So they see this stuff on social media, they go, and it's going to get out of hand. All it takes is one person to come up with a bad idea, and it's going to go dangerously wrong.
I will assure you, if there are enough people, if you put enough people in a small enough amount of space, there's going to be chaos. That's just the human condition. It just happens. I don't know what it is, but we saw the spring break, chaos recently or whatever. So I would just assume that there's events going on or something, and maybe that's what caused this or whatever. But yeah, or maybe they need, if there are like events, like then maybe they need more security or something, you know? I don't necessarily think this is like a legislative issue.
We had this in New York City a few years ago. Kai Cenat, a big social media star, promised a
that was
giveaway in
crazy.
Union Square. The next thing you know, thousands of young kids.
You'll notice also, like, black people, right? Like, it's always black people. They only ever talk about this with black people. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, Logan Paul and Jake Paul did something as well that caused, like, you know, chaos or whatever, but they don't really like to bring that one up as often.
Descended on Union Square. They were jumping on cars, buses, throwing stuff at police, property damage. I mean,
hey, you're don't threaten me with a good time. That all sounds rad as hell. Like the fucking, like the pigs came in and they were jumping on their police cars. Hell yeah, dude. Keep it up. We got little, you know, little mini revolutionaries taken to the street. They're just practicing, everybody. They're practicing for the big one, okay?
these kind of situations are just, they need to be controlled because somebody is really going to lose their life in something that is, that's meant to bring young people together.
I think you're being kind. I don't think they do it because they want to be around their friends. They're around a bunch of strangers. They don't even know these people.
I feel like they're
they do
looking
it to
for
flex and get attention.
Well, I think part of it is these kids want to be social media stars.
Right.
And
but people have been doing that shit for even way before social media. Like I grew up in an age like, yeah, there was social media, but it wasn't as like crazy as it was right now. And we did stupid shit like this all the fucking time. Like it's just an aspect of like being a fucking teenager where your like hormones are all out of whack and like you constantly want to like prove yourself to your friends in some way, shape, or form. That's not like an abnormal thing. You just need to like I don't know. Like I said, if there's enough people. Like, if there's enough people going to an event, there will be chaos. So you need, like, I don't know, if you want to use police or whatever, but you need, like, security at least to, you know, keep things from going out of hand, if that's the case. But I still don't know what this event was that all of these people went out to.
This might be their entree into that.
Yeah. Kayla.
Now, let me offer you another exhibit guy. Zoran, Mamdani, or maybe Mamdani, Zoran. We went from Eric Adams to a full-on, full-blown socialist. So here we are in New York City. It can get worse. Case in point, where we are sitting. But let me look at the left writ large here. I was reading the Chicago mayor to whom you referred.
All those potholes getting fixed. Oh, everyone fucking hates that, right? He's going out and trying to improve people's material conditions. God. I can't believe it.
Brandon Johnson, he has said, because this is also happening in Chicago, these street takeovers, he said that it's reckless and irresponsible. And I thought to myself, I remember what Brandon Johnson used to say. I remember when he quibbled with a reporter for using the term mob. I remember when Brandon Johnson said, quote, "It's important that we speak of these dynamics in the appropriate way. This is not to obfuscate what's actually taken place, but we have to be very careful when we use language to describe certain behavior." And he went on to essentially defend these juveniles by quibbling over the nomenclature. And then I look past that, and I look at what's happening in D.C., and it's the same kind of insidious ideology on the left, and it is pervasive, because you had the D.C. Attorney General, Schwab, his name is Brian Schwab, this was 2 years ago, say, kids are kids. So that was his defense of juvenile crime. Kids are kids, he said.
They are.
Said he would not.
That is a fact. I know Boolean logic, and I know kids equal kids. That asserts to true. Okay, everybody. I know my logic.
Not prosecute juveniles as adults, and that would mean, as Heritage Foundation points out, even if they are weeks away from turning 18, he would not prosecute them as adults. And this can have deadly consequences. Look, this didn't happen in a street takeover, but I remember when Mohammed Anwar, a 66-year-old Uber Eats driver, lost his life because a 13 and a 15-year-old girl used a stun gun on him. He lost control of his car, and his body was dragged, and he lost his life. These These juveniles need to be held accountable for their reckless behavior.
Okay, well that's like a serious thing. Like that's a real actual thing. Like, okay, I'm sorry, property crime is not that important. They can be tried as children when it comes to property crime. I always say if it's for a good cause, property crime is not a crime. Now, I don't know if this is a cause at all, if I'm going to be honest. It just seems like a bunch of people, you know, in a place like getting out of hand or whatever. But yeah, like I don't know. They're just, it seems like they're really trying to push this. Like like I said, I think they just need more prison labor. Like they want to make more profits in prison with their slave camps that they've set up. Like they've set up these private prisons like so that they can put people, like take people off the street, throw them into the slave labor camp, force them to work like for free, and then take all of the profits from that, right? Like that is the system that we have set up. So I think that's what they're trying to do here is they just need more like slave labor to go into the slave labor camps that we call prisons. So that's kind of what I think's going on. Anyway, I think I'm done with this. I've heard enough from these people. That was a pretty fun one though. I enjoyed that one. What else we got? Okay, I'm gonna do a short one because let's see. This is just a trailer, okay? But I don't know. I like to do different things every once in a while. I talk about politics a lot. Sometimes I just want to talk about, you know, things like pop culture and stuff. So I'm going to watch this trailer. A film by Kane Persons. I do not recognize that name. It says it's in theaters May 29th. Now, this is for Backrooms. Like, I personally love the idea of Backrooms. I actually haven't played the video game or whatever, but liminal spaces, like SCP style horror stuff has always been very fascinating to me. It like the vibes of it I really like. And so I am like, I'm gonna watch this trailer. We'll see if I think it looks good or not. But I really have my hopes up that it will potentially be good and it won't be like, you know, a super shitty schlock. But let's go ahead and watch the trailer real quick and see.
I found something in the store.
Okay. A24. Okay. Well, if it's A24, I usually like, I won't say that A24 is perfect or anything, but I think they have a pretty good track record of like at least like competent movie making, you know? So I think that's a good sign to me.
What did you find?
The place. I found a place.
There it is, the classic yellow. Yeah, see this vibe though? This like what, like abandoned office building sort of vibe with like not like non-intuitive geometries and stuff. I don't know. For some reason it just fascinates my brain. I don't really know what that says about me, but I really like it.
Hello?
Ooh, who's that?
Anyone there?
There we go. This May. Also, I don't know if you guys have ever been inside of like a mall or something when it like the lights are out or like some of the lights are out. Like, I don't know. I don't know how this happened, but I was definitely in a mall at one point where it was like basically no, I think it was the mall was open, the stores were open, but it's really close to closing. And there was essentially nobody in this entire like Macy's section of the mall. And so I'm like walking around and like the flickering, like, or like the bluish tint to the lights and everything. And then going into like the changing rooms, like, have you ever gone to a changing room in a mall when there's like nobody else on the floor, like no workers or anything? Like, I don't know. It does give this like very creepy vibe that I really like. Like, it's like a very fun feeling to me.
Look, I know how this sounds, but you gotta understand, it's massive in there.
I'm not saying I don't believe you.
Okay, I'm gonna come back here with proof.
All right, you feel me? Yeah.
Follow my lead.
Clark, what is this?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I've been here every night since I found the place, and I still barely scratched the surface. All right, just take it slow.
Oh my God.
Pull me up, pull me up, pull me up! What do you see?
All these rooms, this place builds them. It's like a maze, it just goes on and on. Sometimes I'm scared I'll get lost.
Clark, can you hear me? I don't understand. What is this?
It's beautiful. Am I right?
Hello?
I was hoping to get more of a hint of the... Okay, I was hoping to get more of a hint of whatever, like the monster or whatever. Like I'm sure there's going to be a, you know, a creepy monster of some sort or multiple, that are gonna show up and like terrorize these people, in some way. So I was hoping to maybe get like at least a shadowy glimpse of it or something, but I think it looks okay, you know? Like I said, A24 is like they're pretty competent. They're competent filmmakers. So I'll probably go see that one, assuming it comes to the theater that I have a membership at. What else has this Kane Pearson's done? Or Kane Parsons? The Oldest View? That's a TV show I have not seen. Oh, and a Backrooms TV series. Wait a second. I didn't even know there was one. Well, maybe I'll have to watch the TV series too. Where is it? Is that an Amazon Prime thing? That's probably why I haven't seen it. Yeah, it must be like a Amazon Prime thing or something. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I'll probably go watch that, assuming, like I said, it comes to the theater I usually go to. Okay, guys, we're gonna move on to just For You page shenanigans. I'm gonna try and find some more stuff to watch. If you're out there watching live, feel free to give suggestions. Let's see, where am I at? I'm at the hour mark. So I'll probably be doing this for at least the next like 20 minutes or so. So yeah, let's go ahead and see what we got here. We already talked about that. This one, I do want to watch this at some point. This a Jang guy or whatever. I see him show up sometimes on some of my like more Iranian aligned YouTube channels that I watch. Like and I don't want to say aligned. I would just say like non-American perspective, like non-State Department affiliated, like American State Department affiliated YouTube channels. So like I'm talking like Danny Haifong and like basically anywhere that you would see Professor Mohammed Marandi go on, like that isn't like a Western media source, like any YouTuber. Like I basically I saw this John guy show up on those channels occasionally, and he's so funny to me because sometimes he sounds really smart and sometimes he sounds really dumb. like insanely dumb sometimes, but also like occasionally he's like says something like kind of smart. And I think that's why he gets as much attention as he does. But I would like to see this one with Mehdi Hassan talking to him, because I feel like Mehdi Hassan is going to call call him out. Well, obviously from that like thumbnail, you're not a professor. He's called Professor Zhang, I think, but yeah, he is not an actual professor. He just has a whiteboard like in his apartment, and he pretends like he's giving a lecture to students, but he just sets up a camera on a tripod in his apartment and like goes up to a whiteboard and starts writing stuff. And then, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of funny. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? Wait, this geographin guy, 1 second. I think he had like an iShow speed thing. So this was the guy that I watched. This was the guy that I watched for, I think it was Karl Marx, like a Marxist interpretation of Mr. Beast or something. So I'm gonna go ahead and watch him on this as well, because I'm curious what his thoughts on iShow speed. But I also need to use the bathroom, so I'm just gonna let it play. I have my headphones in so I can listen to it. But yeah, I'll be right back.
It's 350 BCE in the sweltering heat of ancient Athens. A man named Diogenes, known as the Dog, lives in a discarded, cracked clay storage jar in the middle of the marketplace. He owns nothing but a worn cloak and a staff. He is famous for walking through the crowded city with a lit lantern in broad daylight, holding it up to people's faces and claiming he is simply looking for an honest man. He is the original iconoclast, a man who uses extreme public disruption, shock, and total cringe to expose the deep-seated hypocrisy of society. He had no idea that over 2,000 years later, he would describe the career of Darren Watkins Jr., iShow Speed, with frightening accuracy. To the internet, Speed is a chaotic force of nature, a high-energy streamer who breaks every rule of social decorum. But through a cynic lens, iShow Speed is not Diogenes' successor. He is the realization of the philosopher's greatest fear. Diogenes used shamelessness to find freedom. Speed has figured out how to turn shamelessness into a billion-dollar cage. This is how the world's most energetic creator perfected a digital version of the exact dog-like existence Diogenes warned would lead to the death of the human soul. Performative shamelessness.
Okay, so this is going to be interesting, I guess, to me. So I like iShow Speed generally. I think that he's just a a goofy guy. He's a little too high energy, like Zoomer brain for me personally, so I don't really watch him that much. But he does the like he isn't so bought in. Like I don't know how to even phrase this. He's not like so bought into the America centered like worldview or whatever. And I don't know if it's like, I don't think it's like he has a political perspective on the world or whatever. I just think that he sees like cool things and he wants to go do them. And sometimes like that just happens to not like 100% align with the vision that like the American State Department is trying to portray to the world, So like, that's kind of like, but I think he does a good job of like de-radicalizing people from their crazy, like, like hysterical perspectives on like places like China and stuff. Like, I think he went there. So that sort of thing. So, but I also don't know, this might have not been the video for me because I don't know who Diogenes is. I'm going to look that up real quick, just so like also other people can, who are as oblivious as I am. Okay, let me just pull this up. We can read real quick so that we can have a better understanding for this. Diogenes the Cynic, also known as Diogenes of Sinope, was an ancient Greek philosopher during the period of classical Greece and one of the founders of Cynicism. Okay, it is a school of thought of ancient Greek philosophy originating in the according to Cynicism, people are reasoning animals, and the purpose of life and the way to gain happiness and to achieve virtue in agreement with nature, following one's natural sense of reason by living simply and shamelessly free from social constraints. Okay. The Cynics rejected all conventional desires for wealth, power, glory, social recognition, conformity, and worldly possessions, and even flouted such conventions openly and derisively in public. Okay, cool. So he created cynicism, I guess, which is just kind of a rejection of, yeah, like a rejection of the, you know, material. It seems like a heavy rejection of like the typical material goals of life that people put out there. Radical critiques of social conventions. A legendary figure whose life and teachings have been, okay. So it seems like those are the couple things I guess we'll take into this, is that he created cynicism, which, you know, is all about like reasoning is the way to pure happiness, and like rejecting social conditioning, and having radical critiques of social conventions. So that's kind of what I guess Diogenes was all about. So we'll see how I Show Speed does all that. Why is my, oh, I think that's just my, okay, gotcha. Cool. We're good.
Diogenes of Sinope lived by a concept called anaideia, which translates to shamelessness. He believed that human beings were enslaved by artificial social rules, manners, politeness, and the desperate need for approval. To break these chains, he performed the most private acts in the most public places. He ate with his hands in the middle of a formal square and barked at aristocrats. He believed that if you could kill your sense of shame, you could finally be free from the opinions of others. Now,
okay, so just like, you know, blatantly flouting societal norms to and I guess in their view to ascend. I'm curious how that kind of compares with, like, because that's interesting to me, because he, like, I Show Speed as a streamer, and a part of streamer culture is to flout like social norms and stuff in order to gain clout, right? I would argue that Diogenes was not necessarily doing it to gain clout. I would assume, I mean, although that maybe was a byproduct of it, but it seems like he was more just trying to achieve some state of like ascendance or whatever in terms of like his thought process, like how he thinks. Whereas like most modern day like streamers are just going out and, you know, bothering minimum wage employees for clout. So, you know, like, I don't know, maybe I'm curious what his perspective's gonna be, but if you're doing it for clout, I don't necessarily think that's a good reason.
Look at a typical I Show Speed stream. He barks at strangers on Omegle. He screams at the top of his lungs in quiet restaurants.
No. Oh my.
Hey, can you please be respectful? There's other people eating here. Just please be respectful.
He performs erratic, hyperactive stunts that make the average person recoil in embarrassment. On the surface, this is anaideia in its purest form.
Yeah,
Speed
I mean, I could see
appears
that.
to be a man who has completely murdered his own sense of shame. But there is a fundamental difference that Diogenes would have found horrifying. For Diogenes, shamelessness was a tool for internal liberation. He didn't care if the crowd laughed.
That's kind of what I was saying
rocks.
before.
He did it to prove he didn't need them. For Speed, shamelessness is a marketable commodity in the digital economy. Cringe.
That's exactly what I was saying. And I think that, like, yeah, this is a good analysis to make. I wonder what made him make this comparison, if it was just I Show Speed barking at people or what. But
is a high yield asset. Every time Speed does something shameless, he is checking the live viewer count. The shame isn't being destroyed, it's being sold. Diogenes warned that if you perform your life for an audience, you aren't a philosopher, you're a performer. Speed's wildness is a social relationship masked by a screen. He isn't barking to show that social rules are fake, he's barking because the algorithm rewards the loudest noise. It is the ultimate irony. The man who looks the most free is...
See, the better way that Diogenes could have phrased that is, if you're being shameless, for others, then you're a clout shark. And clout sharks are not philosophers. That's what that's how I would say it. Clout sharks are not philosophers. So I show speed. I'm sorry, you might not be a philosopher.
Is actually the most dependent on the reaction of the mob, the attention prison. One of the core pillars of Cynic philosophy was ascesis, or rigorous training. Diogenes famously rolled his body in hot sand in the summer and embraced snow-covered statues in the winter. He wasn't doing this to flex or go viral. He was training his body and soul to need nothing. He once saw a child drinking water with his hands and immediately threw away his only wooden cup, crying out, "A child has beaten me in plainness of living." The goal of ascesis was total self-sufficiency, to be happy even if you had nothing. Now analyze the rigorous training of I Show Speed. Darren Watkins puts himself through incredible physical and mental strain. He streams for 24 hours straight. He does backflips until he collapses. He screams until his vocal cords are literally bleeding. He endures sub-goals where he is forced to do whatever the chat demands for hours on end. This looks like discipline, but it is the exact opposite of what Diogenes practiced. Diogenes' training led to autarkia, self-sufficiency. Speed's training leads to total dependency. Speed has trained his mind to require a constant stream.
Hasn't I Show Speed, didn't he... Is he still doing this stuff? Like, I thought he was taking a little break or something. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
External validation. He is trapped in a sub-goal loop where his physical suffering is the fuel for the engagement engine. Diogenes warned that the more you train to please the crowd, the more the crowd becomes your master. If Speed stopped being chaotic for even 1 hour, his value would drop. He is an athlete of attention, but the prison he has built is made of likes and donations. He has the stamina of a warrior, but he uses it to stay chained to a desk, proving Diogenes' point that without a virtuous purpose, even the strongest man is just a servant to his own fame. The truth trap. Diogenes was the master of parrhesia, or fearless speech. This brings us to the most famous story in the history of philosophy, his encounter with Alexander the Great, when the world's most powerful conqueror stood over the philosopher and asked if there was anything he could do for him. Diogenes didn't ask for money, power, or fame. He simply looked up and said, "Yes, stand a little out of my sunshine." He spoke the truth regardless of the consequences. He used his voice to strip away the masks of the powerful and show them their own insignificance. He wanted nothing from Alexander because Alexander had nothing that Diogenes valued. I Show Speed also practices a form of fearless speech. He says the most unhinged, unfiltered things imaginable. He calls out celebrities and ignores the rules of decorum. When this gives his audience a sense of authenticity, they feel like they are watching someone real in a world of fake scripted influencers. But this is where the truth trap closes. When Speed interacts with the Alexanders of our world, the celebrities, the athletes, the billionaires, he isn't asking them to move out of his light. He is desperately chasing their light. His frankness is a performance designed to generate a 15-second TikTok clip. Diogenes sought to find an honest man by stripping away the performance. Speed has created a world where the performance is the only thing that feels honest. He can insult a football star or a world leader, but he can never tell the one truth that would end his career, that he is as much a prisoner of the live button as his viewers are. The crowd's dog.
Yeah.
The word cynic comes...
well, hey guys, I don't think you have to worry about me, okay? I got like 33 subscribers, so I don't think I'm going to get audience captured like that. I also think that in general, I have a pretty... well, number one, I'm not like a clout chaser in general. I find that shit like annoying and like kind of pathetic, and I don't know if I would like respect myself that much if I became a clout chaser. So but also I think that like when it comes to like my politics stuff, I have a very like set in stone worldview that isn't very malleable or whatever. So I don't really perceive audience capture as like that big of a risk for me or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I Show Speed is just an interesting person. Like I said, he's a little too Zoomer brain for me, so I don't watch him that much. But I did like that he like went to China or whatever.
comes from the Greek word for dog-like. Diogenes embraced this title. He said he was a dog because he fawns on those who give him anything, barks at those who refuse, and sets his teeth in rascals. He lived like a dog to prove that nature is better than the complex lying world of civilization. But he was a stray dog, beholden to no one. He didn't have a leash, and he didn't have a master. In the digital agora, iShowSpeed has also embraced the persona.
See, here's the thing, though. For Diogenes over there, living on his own and all that sort of stuff, he did get some clout from this, right? Like, he did. I mean, like, it's not exactly the same, but he did, like, if Alexander the Great or whatever did come and visit him, if he is a well-known and well-regarded philosopher, like, you can't disconnect that from like what he did here, because this is like sort of a performance to some extent in order to like gain, like, whether he was intentionally trying to or not, which that's internal to himself and nobody can know for sure, it did get him clout, right? So I don't know, Diogenes may not be so far different from iShowSpeed as like it's like making it out to be right here.
Have a master. In the digital agora, iShowSpeed has also embraced the persona of the dog. He literally barks at his audience. He acts on animal instinct. He is the speedy persona, unfiltered, raw, and wild. But look closer at the leash. Diogenes barked at people to make them think. Speed barks because the dono goal was met. In this microeconomy, the crowd is the master. The chat is the hand that feeds. In Speed has flipped the cynic's greatest weapon.
See, this how he's acting right here is exactly why I don't actually watch iShowSpeed, because like all of those facial expressions he's making and all that stuff is so perfectly designed to go viral or whatever. But yeah, it's also just so like absurd and like Zoomer coded, like so fast paced that my half dead ass can't follow it. It's too much for me.
Master. The chat is the hand that feeds. In Speed has flipped the cynic's greatest weapon. Diogenes used dog-like behavior to mock the crowd's dependency on luxury. Speed uses dog-like behavior to satisfy the crowd's hunger for entertainment. He is the ultimate realization of Diogenes' warning, a man who has abandoned his human dignity not to find nature but to become a digital pet. He barks on command for bits and gifted subs. The crowd doesn't watch him because they respect his freedom. They watch him because they own his time. He is the dog of the internet, but unlike Diogenes, he has traded his storage jar for a mansion built on the requirement that he never stops barking. Artificial wildness. Diogenes' ultimate goal was to live Gaeta Faecius, according to nature. He mocked the artificial lives of the wealthy with their perfumes, their complex foods, and their constant need for entertainment. He wanted a return to the simple, the raw, and the chaotic beauty of the natural world. He believed that the direction a society takes is decided by what it teaches its children. As he famously said, the foundation of every...
What does our society teach our children, everybody? I do remember when I was growing up, we were taught sharing is caring. I don't know if they still teach that anymore. That might be a little too woke. That might be a little too communist nowadays to teach sharing is caring. But I do remember learning that, which is good. But I think that we teach our kids a lot of like what I would say is capitalist conditioning or whatever, where, yeah, the world sucks. It's a dog eat dog world, and you have to brutalize others to succeed. Like that sort of stuff. We teach our children that a lot, which I don't think is very good or says anything that great about our society. But
state is the education of its youth.
Also, the education of its youth, our public education system is being dismantled as we speak. Soon, education is going to be entirely privatized, just like our healthcare industry. And if you want an education for your kids, you're going to have to go into horrendous amounts of debt, just like our healthcare industry. And everybody loves our private healthcare industry, right? So why would they not love our private education industry? I'm sure it'll be brilliant, people. It'll be wonderful. It'll be magnificent.
Speed's brand is built on natural chaos. He is unpredictable, he is wild, he is unscripted. But in reality, Speed's chaos is the most artificial thing on the internet. It is a calculated overproduction of behavior. Every scream, every backflip, and every crash is optimized for maximum retention. And this is where Diogenes' quote becomes terrifying. If the education of the youth is now found in the 24/7 hyperstimulated streams of iShowSpeed, what kind of state are we building? Speed's nature is actually a feedback loop. He does something wild, the viewers increase, and so he does it again, but louder. He is educating an entire generation to believe that freedom is the ability to scream at a screen, rather than the ability to sit in silence and need nothing. Diogenes wanted to live in a jar to show he didn't need the city. Speed lives in the city of the internet, and he needs every single person in it to keep his nature alive. He isn't living cataphysis, he is living Keita algorithm. He has perfected the artificial wildness that Diogenes feared, a state where we are so addicted to the spectacle of chaos that we forget what it actually means to be a free, quiet, and honest human being. Diogenes of Sinope once saw the son of a prostitute throwing stones at a crowd and cried out, "Take care you don't hit your father." It was a joke about the commonality of human vice, how we are all part of the same messy, hypocritical world. Today, we are the crowd, and iShowSpeed is throwing stones. We laugh, we clip it, and we donate. But Diogenes' final warning is that the stones eventually hit us all. Speed is not the problem, he is the mirror. He is what happens when a society that claims to value freedom and authenticity actually only values attention and noise. He has perfected the dog-like life, but he's done it for the wrong reasons. He has found the storage jar, but he's filled it with cameras and sponsors. Diogenes spent his life looking for an honest man. If he held his lantern up to iShowSpeed today, he wouldn't find a philosopher. He would find a young man who has been forced to turn his own soul into a 24/7 reality show just to stay relevant in a world that refuses to look at anything that isn't screaming. Speed is what happens when the dog finally gets 1 billion followers. He stops being a critic of the system and becomes its most profitable prisoner.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Sure. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the Diogenes comparison, I do get it. I think I do get it. He is being absurd and, flouting all the cultural norms, like in that sort of cynicism kind of way. But yeah, he he is much more motivated by clout than I would say Diogenes was. But like I also said, though, Diogenes, you can't completely disconnect the clout that he did get from doing those acts or whatever, from from his philosophy or whatever, because yes, I'm sure maybe in his head he thought I am doing this purely for me, I'm not doing this for anybody else, but the fact that he did get all of that clout anyway as well, to some extent, it's hard, that's almost a distinction without a difference, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, we're going to go over to some articles or something. I'm trying to scroll through this to see if I can find something, because I don't know if I have any good ones saved right now. I do like responsible statecraft. I like, yeah. Oh, and also everybody, the market's about to close at 4 or 5, so let's all pray to the market that this time there's not a ground invasion of Iran. Okay, everybody pray to the market. Pray that the market keeps us safe. Okay, and that we can make it through another weekend with no ground invasion. Everybody do your market rain dance. Okay, go outside and do your market rain dance, and we will all pray to the market that we do not go to war with, that we do not send ground troops to Iran. Okay, let's see what else we got. I guess we're going to the moon again, everybody. I also heard about that. Man. Fired from, whoa. University of Washington professor was fired from director job after sending email criticizing Iran war. Uh-oh. Let's see what else we got. Ooh, this one could be fun. Let me make sure that it, I always open them on a separate window just to make sure that it doesn't ask me to log in or something. This is a short one too, so we'll probably have to find another one after this. But okay. So I'm sure that most people who watch my channel regularly will understand that I despise Chuck Schumer. He is the worst. He is, like, first of all, old as sin. Like, go die already, man. Save some years for the rest of us. Am I right? But also, he has terrible politics, terrible messaging, and he is leading the Democrats into, you know, their rightful place as fascist collaborators. Like, he is ready. He said, Donald Trump, you know, when the time is right, we will be there. We centrist Democrats will be there to collaborate with you fascists and start rounding up all them migrants. That's basically the vibe that I get from Schumer. Is he is ready. He is ready to be a fascist collaborator. He's just waiting for the time. So anyway, this could be a spark of good news. This is from Axios. This is an article, New York polls are full of warnings for Chuck Schumer, by Stephen Newcomb. What a great name, man. They should have called him Duke. Their parents really made a mistake there. Okay, so Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer's approval rating in New York has cleared 40% just once during the last 6 months, according to polling from Siena. Yeah, so he's basically he basically has the popularity level of Donald Trump at this point. So that's, you know, that's saying something. His approval was at 53% at the same point in President Trump's first term, according to Siena. That's still not very good. At least it's above water, or it was above water. Schumer is obsessed with his hometown polls. He's up for re-election. Is he really going up for re-election? Jesus Christ, dude. Isn't he like 80 something? $75. Okay, I thought he was older than that. But yeah, no, he is like, yeah, he's like a walking corpse at this point. If you've ever seen him out in the wild, he is basically a walking corpse. But anyway, why it matters. So I guess, and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is eyeing his seat. The minority leader's New York approval rating reached 38% in March, according to polling by Siena. His recent high water mark was 42% in September, as local ratings bottomed out at 32%. Yeah, that is Trump level. That is literally Trump level. Trump is incredibly unpopular. He is in the mid 30s. And so apparently Chuck Schumer also, at least in his hometown polls, I would almost guess it would be lower in like national polls. But yeah, he's not looking good. That was around the time that Senate Democrats voted to end a record-long government shutdown, outraging the party's base. Schumer opposed the deal between Democratic moderates and Senate Republicans, but still faced significant blowback after his caucus cave in negotiations, because he did not oppose the deal. He verbally said that he opposed the deal. They really need, like, I say this all the time. When like news sources choose to use the word allegedly, like really shows their ass for their biases or whatever. Because you'll notice, like, on anything that's like that like people like that Israel does, for instance. Like that's a good example of our media always being pro-Israel. They will always qualify and say, allegedly, you know, these 5 like IDF people raped this Palestinian. Allegedly. They'll throw in like 5 allegedlys. Why do they not have an allegedly here? Schumer allegedly opposed the deal between Democratic moderates and Senate Republicans, but still faced significant blowback over his caucus's cave in negotiations. Yeah, because obviously he didn't oppose the deal. Like he wanted it to end, and he allowed defections. Like, because he was like, it's the classic rotating villain structure of the Democrats. There will always be just enough votes to go along with any pro-corporate, pro-billionaire policies that are coming through, and any pro-war policies that are coming through. Like, honestly, there will always be just enough votes to allow those things to happen. It might not be the same people every time, but like, it will always be just enough votes, and he is the one who is making those decisions to allow those votes to go through. So come on, Axios, throw an allegedly in there for me, please. Schumer's polling slides comes as AOC campaigns across New York, far from her district in the Bronx and Queens. This includes a series of town halls in upstate New York last summer. AOC has the option of running for president or Senate. As Axios has reported, she's joined Senator Bernie Sanders on nationwide Fight the Oligarchy tour. Between the lines, Schumer and his team focus intensely on his presence in the state, with the Democratic leader frequently holding press availabilities and public events while back in New York on weekends and during recess. Schumer has toured all 62 counties in the state for 27 straight years, a pledge he made during his first Senate election in 1998. That's actually I mean, that's a cool thing to do. Like, I'll give him credit on that. Touring all the counties. Like, obviously, I don't think that, like, he's going to have insane amounts of security, and he's not going to be allowed to actually, like, hang out or interact with the public, like, as a normal human being, like he should, as our politicians should interact with the public. But it is still a cool thing to, you know, do, is like to tour all these places. I hope now he's getting yelled at a lot, though, for being, you know, a Zionist freak. Like a pro-Israel freak. Schumer's national favorability among Democrats hovers around 43%. Oh, I guess the national favorability is actually higher than his local favorability. That's crazy. I assumed it would be lower. According to polling averages compiled by Decision Desk in April 2018, 2/3 of national Democrats viewed Schumer favorably. Wow, how the mighty have fallen. Used to be 2/3, 66%. Yeah. People are not having these centrist corporate shills anymore. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Get him out of office. If he won't leave office, you know, you know what, that thing that Kristi Noem did with the dog? Or like Ole Yeller, we can, you know, like, he's lived a good life. I'm sorry, people. That's a joke. I don't actually want that to happen. Man, I thought comedy was legal. Jeez. Everyone's always complaining. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? Let me pull this back up here. There's gotta be one more. There's gotta be one more, people. I guess the jobs report was okay. That's a surprise. Although I don't necessarily trust our, you know, the current administration when it comes to releasing accurate job numbers. So, what are we going to watch or read? South Korea and France are going to deepen defense cooperation. That's interesting. Maybe I can read some stuff about Hassan. I'll just read this one from Jacobin. I like Jacobin. Oh, maybe not. This site can't be reached. Okay, never mind. Here, let me pull it down here, just make sure. Yeah, no, I can't read that article right now. Okay, then never mind. I could go with the birthright citizen stuff, but that's not... I don't know. It seems like the Supreme Court isn't going to go with it. I think I'm just going to head on over to X, people. I'm ready. I'm ready. We'll spend a little bit more time over on X than normal. Okay, we are here. Oops. Okay, now we are here. This is X, the Everything app. We're just going to scroll around on here. We're going to have some fun. Maybe I'll, you know, meme on some people. Maybe I'll dunk on some people. Who knows? Let's see here. What are these notifications? I'll have to look at those later. I'm very bad. This probably annoys people to some extent. I'm very bad at like going through notifications. In general, I find all notifications to just be annoying. If I want to, I will go look at stuff. I don't like, if I don't care, then I don't need a notification for it. So yeah. But anyway, Breaking Points hits 2 million subscribers. That is a congrats moment. That's a lot. Good for them. I'm following them. I sometimes see that guy. Good politic guy. I'll follow him as well. Nice job, people. Okay. What is this? Shannon R. Watts. Shannon Watts. Hassan Piker says he'll vote for a third-party candidate if the Democratic nominee is Gavin Newsom. Remember that Piker is not a Democrat, but a millionaire who makes money by fomenting political discord. Why is this showing up to me? We'll respond. Okay, sure. Why not? I need to start getting more in the trenches, I think. I need to get into the, you know, into the neo-Nazi trenches if I want to, if I want to, you know, be a good lefty, fighting back on the internet, woke internet warrior and all that sort of stuff. So let's see. Hassan Piker says he'll vote for a third-party candidate if the Democratic nominee is Gavin Newsom. Remember that Piker is not a Democrat, but a millionaire. Okay. So we'll say if Gavin Newsom is the candidate, me and all the leftists you need to win will all collectively self-sue, and then you guys can continue to lose for the can continue your fascist collaboration in peace. You're welcome. How's that, people? I'm framing it as a I'm framing it as like, here, this can this'll, like, if you do this, yeah, everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. If Gavin Newsom is the candidate, me and all the leftists you need to win will all collectively self-sue, and then you guys can continue your fascist collaboration in peace. You're welcome. I'll just say your march to fascism and peace. You're welcome. There. That seems good enough. If Gavin Newsom is the candidate, me and all the leftists you need to win will all collectively self-sue, and then you guys can continue your march to fascism in peace. You're welcome. There you go. That's a little, yeah, we're just having a little fun on here. Let's see. So this is For the first time in history under Trump's rule, the Iranian Revolutionary Guards announced the downing of an American F-15 jet on Kem Island. Let's see it. Is this actually it? Oh, it's chasing. Yeah. Got it.
Target hit. Target destroyed.
Yeah, if that's a real video or whatever of that, that's, you know, they got him. They got him. I don't know if that one guy, if he's still, you know, on Iranian territory or whatever, but this is what I always say, though, is if it were up to me, none of these people would be over here doing this, right? Like, they wouldn't be flying up in the air over Iranian airspace. If it was up to me, they would all be at home. They would all be hanging out with their families. So this is not my fault that this is happening. And you cannot blame me if I laugh at it. Like, if I laugh at our military, you know, our military failing in the face of, like, Iran's duct tape and bubblegum air defenses, you know, like, I'm gonna laugh at it. I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry. But like I said, it's not my fault. I wouldn't have put him over there. You're the ones who put him over there, okay? Okay. Hassan has campaigned for and promoted over 20 different Democrats since the beginning of 2026. You, on the other hand, said you'd vote for Jeffrey Epstein if he ran as a Democrat because you hold no principles. I think that was Destiny who said that, right? Replying to @Hutchinson. Is that Destiny? I don't know Destiny's tag. This is why there's a lot of worry from some in the party. They don't want me working to primary bad Democrats and replace them with 1,000 Zoran-style left-flank candidates. Yeah, they are. They're scared. They're scared of having 1,000 Zorans. Zoran was like the moment, right, where they're like, oh god, this, like, people really like this guy, and he's like, and this, like, messaging that he has like goes across, like, typical party lines, and there's plenty of, like, you know, Republicans or working class people who consider themselves right-winger who are voting for him and stuff. They're just scared of having that happen all across the country. Lucky for them, though, Zoran is, like, uniquely charismatic. All of these other people are, like, okay. Like, they're good. They have good policies and stuff, which is the most important part of winning. But a lot of them aren't as good of messengers as Zoran is. Zoran is unique in that regard. Some more missiles. Ooh. That's a lot of hits. Is this actually Tel Aviv? Oh my gosh. Dude, did you see that? That was like a 90% hit rate on all of those. I'm assuming these are those, like, cluster munitions or whatever. But yeah, like, there were so many impacts. That's crazy. That's crazy. I already saw that. What we got here? Caroline Kwan. Variety. Hackstar Hannah Einbinder blasts AI creators as losers and says you want to put their head in the toilet and flush. That's true. That's true. I do as well. The people who make this stuff are losers. They're not artists. They're not creative. And they've wanted their whole lives to be special, and they're not special. So they're trying to rob real creative people of our gifts, and you can. And even if you try, you will never be cool. You guys suck. No one likes you. Anyone who's near you is because they crave power and access over any ethical standard. You are a loser. You will never be cool, and you probably had a rolly backpack in high school. I want to put your head in the toilet and flush. That is incredible. I feel that way all the fucking time. I will like that. That is great. That is great. Because, like, yeah, they are losers. The people who think that typing a, like, 5-word sentence into an AI is a substitute for real creativity, they are, like, I don't know, they're just dorks. Like, they learn how to be creative. Like, anybody can be creative. Think about something you want to express, like something that you feel and you want to express, and then go find a medium to express it. Like, You just have to put in the effort, man. And that's what they don't want to do. They don't want to put in the effort. Okay. Let's see. Tel Aviv. Oh, there's another one getting through. I can't listen to that, unfortunately. And those are the clusters. Ooh, that's a big boy. Oof. I mean, Israel's getting rocked like even more. Oh yeah. And in case everybody forgets, because sometimes you'll see this and you'll be like, but there's civilians there, it could, like, even if they're going after military targets, there could be some civilians that got hit. So maybe we shouldn't be enjoying this or whatever. This is what the average Israeli thinks about Palestinians and thinks about Muslims, okay? They're doing blackface for it. They're doing this shit. You see that? Did you see that real quick? These are the people. This is the people. This is the people that are getting hit. These are the civilians, okay? So I'm just saying, I'm not telling you not to feel bad for them. I'm just giving you the information. You can make your own decisions if you want to actually feel bad for them or not. Okay? I'm not your dad. As much as you want me to be. As much as you want me to be your dad, I'm not your dad, people, okay? Retweet if you miss having a president with empathy. Okay. Nina Turner said, did he empathize with the Palestinians? Dude, that is a wild thing to say. No, I don't want to. I want to reply to this one. If you miss having a president with empathy. He may not have had, oh, sorry, let me scroll down so you can see it. He may not have had empathy, but at least he was, what should I say? At least he was, no, okay. That one's not a good one. I'm trying to think of a way to be like, but at least he was almost dead, whatever, like, but at least he was basically dead his entire presidency. No, I can't think of a good way to phrase it though. Yeah. Whatever. Here, I got one. Okay. I miss having a president with ass cancer. How about that, people? Because that way I'm making fun of Biden for having ass cancer because he deserves it because he's a genocidal maniac. But I'm also saying that I wish Trump also had ass cancer. Is that good? Is that good enough, people? Okay, sure. I think it's good enough. I think it's good enough. Man, I'm gonna start doing this more. I like going a little ham on the Twitter, just for the funsies, for the content, people. I don't even do this in my free time. Oh no. This is the Bulwark guy, right? Oh no, he also has a fetish, it looks like, people. Just kidding. Just kidding. I think he's making fun of it. What is this? Yeah, this is what I saw earlier. What is PCF labeled none? Does anybody know what this thing is? Like why that's showing up on all these posts? I don't know what that is. What is this? Oh, Authenticity. I don't know what that means. Oh, we got a new Lego movie. A new Lego movie is released from Iran. Let's see. They always put music in it though. Oh, well maybe this is non-copyrighted. I don't know. I have a hard time telling sometimes. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that this is non-copyrightable, but we'll see.
This one's specially for you. You punk ass rapist bitch.
I'm still too scared to do it. Sorry, people. I don't like getting copyright strikes. Okay, well, maybe another time. That's so evil, dude. What? Man. Apparently this is JD Vance. He's training to go to the Strait of Hormuz. He's gonna open it up himself. So here he goes. Whoa. Is this real? Is this a real dude like jumping up and shit? That seems very dangerous. Or is this AI? That's AI, right? That just seems so dangerous. Yeah, that's AI. Okay, sorry, that confused me for a second. God, AI, it really ruins everything. Because I can never tell what's real or not anymore. Okay, let's see. Too loud, people, too loud.
You know what? I am not president of the United States. You want to go to the White House and talk to him? Then go on and do that.
This is Kamala, what? I wouldn't say like thirst trap, but like, you know, Kamala, man, I miss you, girl trap, you know? But yeah, I mean, Kamala sucks too, so let's not get twisted. You know, MAGA is cooked when Sneeko is posting Kamala at it's true. Yeah, I mean, this is from Anonymous. If this is terrorism, what the fuck is this? This is hyper mega terrorism. It digivolved. This terrorism digivolved into this terrorism. But I've already said before, the term terrorist is just a, like, in my view, a racist weaponized word to say our violence good, your violence bad. Like, that's basically the whole reason that the term terrorism exists. And I see it as no different fundamentally than how people used to use the term savage. Like, they would say, like, the savages when they were talking about the indigenous people of America. And it was just a way to delegitimize their violence. It was saying our violence is fine and nice and sophisticated and white, but their violence is brown and yucky and savage, right? I see terrorism as like the same exact thing. Or the term terrorist is the same. What is this?
Media has released images that appear to show debris of a downed US fighter jet, saying the fate of the pilot is unknown. Well, Matthew Chance is in Doha, covering off some of this latest. Matthew, let's start with what we know about this downed jet in Iran. State media certainly saying it's a US F-35. We've seen the images that they've posted. What do we make of those?
What do we make of them?
Well, I mean, look, it's a confused picture at the moment. I mean, yes, you're right. State media is touting this idea. They've shot down a very advanced US fighter jet, an F-35. But what a lot of the military experts are talking about right now is that the parts of the wreckage of the plane that have been shown look more like an F-15, still an American plane. The face of the pilot not clear.
I thought it was an F-15. I'm confused.
15, still an American plane. The face of the pilot not clear. What we know at the moment is that the Americans and CENTCOM are the people that have been speaking about this, the Central Command. They've said so far that all of their planes are accounted for, and that the Iranian military authorities often make claims like this. And so details are, say, very sketchy at the moment, but those images are very compelling, and we're hopefully going to get a bit more.
Well, it has been confirmed now, but posting this hours into a search and rescue mission is funny. Yeah, like they were already, I thought it was already confirmed like a while ago. It was confirmed by the time I started my stream. Okay, what's this? This is Ochi Dyke. And it says, Jesus has risen. Atheists, don't laugh, please. I consider myself agnostic. It's really a distinction without that much of a difference, to be honest. But I'm not anti-theist in any way. But I am a secular. I am Pope of the secular. So I will, you know what? As Pope of the seculars, I'll laugh if I fucking want to. And I give all of my other secular brothers and sisters out there and MBsters that they are allowed to laugh as well. So don't listen to this person. We can laugh, okay? So we'll see. We'll see. Okay, right off the bat. Is that the same face from does anybody remember the botched restoration of that painting? Botched Jesus restoration. Come on. How do I just open up the image? Open image in new tab. There we go. Okay. This is what do you guys remember this? Like, oops, there we go. This right here. Is that not the same face that we're seeing over here? And maybe it's not that bad. This is pretty far, this is pretty zoomed out, so it might not be that bad, but let's go ahead and see what else happens. Whoa. Wait a second, people. I don't think that's how it happened. I thought that the whole point of the stone moving out of the way is that he like walked out. I don't think he flew out. Like, I don't think he went full Neo and like the Matrix or whatever and just like looked up into camera and like flew out like Superman. I'm pretty sure that that's not how it happened, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe it did. Maybe these guys have a different idea of how this happened. Okay. They're like, okay. Well, I didn't laugh a ton. I did laugh a little bit. But I think that was me. I think that was all me. That was all, I made myself laugh, which is, like I always say, my favorite kind of laughter, the kind that I make myself do. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, this was a funny quote. Just saying the quiet part out loud, right?
Because the United States can't take care of daycare. That has to be up to a state.
It has to.
We can't take care of daycare. We're a big country. We have 50 states. We have all these other people. We're fighting wars. We can't take care of daycare. You got to let a state take care of daycare, and they should pay for it, too. They should pay. They have to raise their taxes, but they should pay for it. And we could lower our taxes a little bit to them to make up, but it's not possible for us to take care of daycare. Medicaid, Medicare, all these individual things, they can do it on a state basis. You can't do it on a federal. We have to take care of one thing, military protection.
Just a little thing to, oh no, what's happening? Okay, there we go. I don't know what happened there. Just for people who are unaware, where did my OBS go? Okay, cool. I was worried for a second that I messed something up. Just so people are unaware, Trump seeks $1.5 trillion defense budget, proposes cuts to programs at home. 1.5 trillion, people. Since I've been following the defense budget, it's always been above 1 trillion, and it goes up every year, no matter what. And for those unaware, this money does not go to defense. It doesn't go to producing more airships. It doesn't go to producing missile interceptors. Like, some of it does, for sure. Like, maybe like 20% of it goes to those things, like the actual productive capabilities of America to build out all of our weapons that we use on brown people abroad, right? Like, I'd say 20% of that budget goes to that. The other 80% is skimmed off the top by contractors and private equity. So it's just stolen. It's just stolen from our tax dollars. And, you know, bureaucracy, like unnecessary bureaucracy between corporations and contracts and all that sort of stuff. If you want to see how small a defense budget needs to be to get like incredibly more bang for your buck, look at China. Well, let's Google real quick. Let's Google China defense budget. Okay. For those unaware, China's defense budget is approximately $277 billion. Now, I'm going to ask you a quick question. How many ships can America build per year with its 1.5 trillion? And you don't even have to listen to me. I'll just Google it. How many ships does America build per year? The United States builds a very low number of large commercial ships, often only around 5 per year. Not commercial. How many Navy ships? Okay. Well, the thing that I always hear is they requested like 40, I think, like 10 years ago, and I think they got 1. It's something along those lines. Yeah, they're requesting 17. I'm sure they're not going to get that. America shipbuilding, Navy shipbuilding rate. Sorry, I'm trying to find something so you guys don't just have to trust me. Consistently over budget. Okay, let's see here. Well, anyway, guys, there's a lot of resources out there. You can go look it up yourself. But what I heard was like they wanted the number that I always heard was that they wanted to build like I think it was like 10 ships over like a 5-year period or something. And they were able to produce 1. Like, so and then let's go look up how many naval ships did China build last year? China added 30 ships to its navy in the past year. Okay, China added 30 ships to its navy. America added, we'll say, I'll give them some credit. I'll just say they added 2. Let's just say they added 2. I think that's high. That's a high estimate, but let's say it's 2. Then America spent 1.5 trillion. And China is spending 277 billion. So I'm just saying, the only way to get like an efficiency like this is to be a state capitalist country, especially when it comes to like the Navy and like the Army and stuff, where the every corporation is completely owned and operated by the government. That's literally the only way that you're going to get to this sort of efficiency, because the private capitalist system is the most inefficient way of building, like of manufacturing stuff that has ever existed. It is literally the least efficient system that has ever existed. And so this is what you're going to see all the time is $1.5 trillion for like 1/10 of the productive capabilities of China. So there's a little fun fact for you people. Sorry it took so long. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, that was a pretty good roast. I don't need this thing over. How do I dismiss? Can I dismiss this? I don't know how to dismiss it. I don't know. Okay. I'm just going to watch this and then I'll go back up to the top so it stops showing me that. The Confederate flag represents my history. Let's see. Oh. Oh.
South in the land of traitors.
History of taking a fat fucking L. Am I right, people? That's a pretty good one. That's funny. Let's go ahead and keep it going.
Snakes and alligators run away, come away.
Oh yeah, that was a pretty good one. I liked that one. Just memeing on him. Congressional Dems number. Oh, I wanted to watch this actually. Okay. Let's watch this video, and then after that, I'll try and find a funny one, and then I'll be out of here. Congressional Dems numbers with Dems are atrociously awful, even worse among all voters. Most Dems, 55%, think their party has the wrong priorities.
No, not at all, at least when it comes to you isolate Democrats. I mean, these numbers are just atrociously awful. A double A for the Democrats here. I mean, just take a look here. Congressional Dems have the right priorities. Look at this. Overall, 74%. Nearly 3 in 4 say no. Just 25% overall say yes. You might say, okay, well, at least Dems like Democrats. Not the case. Look at this. The majority of Democrats are independents who lean Democrats. Look at this. 55% say no, congressional Democrats do not have the right priorities. And then you just see a minority, 45% of Democrats say that congressional Democrats have the right priorities. This to me just jumps out at the screen because it screams primary challenges all over the map. And it says that even if Democrats don't like Donald Trump, they don't like their own party either when it comes to Congress. And overall, I mean, my goodness gracious.
Yeah, and this is where the problem is going to happen for the Democrats is that they want to win by not doing anything. That's what congressional Democratic leadership wants. They do not want to stand for anything. They do not want to stand for a broad populist agenda. They just want to win by doing nothing so that they can maintain like centrist neoliberalism. Even as it's proven to have been like a historic failure for the working class, right? So they want to do that. The problem is like that might work for one presidency, but going back to business as usual is not going to stop the rise of fascism. It isn't. We saw this with Biden. Biden's whole premise of getting elected was we're going to go back to business as usual politics. And that's basically what he did. But guess what happened after that? It led to Trump too, an even more fascist regime. Now, guess what's going to happen if, the Democrat anointed Gavin Newsom goes into the presidency and does not materially fix the underlying conditions, like the underlying material conditions of the working class in America? That's right. You get Trump 3. And it's not going to be like Trump probably because he might be dead by then or whatever. But it's going to be somebody and it's going to be worse than Trump 2. Okay. That's how it's going to go. So, and it's going to keep doing that until they finally address the actual economic problems that are plaguing the working class of America. I wish that they could just learn this lesson a lot sooner so we don't have to go through, the 3 iterations of fascism or even more if they keep doing it after that.
So this is sort of like Democrat on Democrat crime here. What's overall approval among Democrats of their leaders?
Yeah, okay. So, you speak about Democrat on Democrat crime, and I want to know how unusual what we're seeing right now about how Democrats feel about Democrats in Congress is. Take a look at this. This is a trend line going back through the years, midterm elections in which there's a GOP president. Look at this. In 2006, Dems' net approval of congressional Democratic leaders was plus 28. You go back to the last midterm, look at that, plus 19. Very much on the positive side. The bottom has fallen out. Yeah. The bottom has fallen out. -4.
Well, because at each of these points in times, there was like hope, right? There was hope that the Democratic Party could save us from fascism. In 2006, that was the Bush era, right? The whole like liberalism hadn't completely failed at that point, right? So there was still hope that like centrist neoliberal politics will will save us. Then in 2018 you get Trump 1, which was the first blow to like the general liberal hegemony like in America, where liberalism is thought to be like this like unshakable force that is going to stay with us forever. And so some people like realize like clearly it's not plus 28 anymore. Some people, it was also the era of resistance liberalism and stuff. So like they at least were putting on the aesthetic of fighting against fascism. And then by 2026, we go through that exact same loss that we had with Hillary. We go through it like 1-to-1, like deja vu style in 2024. And so like people just gave up at that point. They're like, nah, the Democrats aren't going to save us. Fuck them. We need to, there's other ways that we can save ourselves, people. Just letting you know, you can organize, but it's not all about electoralism.
4 points.
Yeah.
That is Democrats. Democrats' own net approval of their own congressional leaders. Even Democrats don't like their own leaders when it comes to Congress. And overall, of course, the numbers are just absolutely awful. So Democrat on Democrat crime, absolutely. This to me screams, again, primary challenge.
But anyway, okay. And then Secular Talk says, quick, yell at Hassan Piker. Yeah, I mean, that would be a distraction. Okay, let's try and find a funny one, okay, people? Let's try and find a funny one.
5 years ago, where a bunch of liberals were like, you can't go on Joe Rogan. He had some bad opinions. It's just like, we can't do this shit again. Okay? You can't do this shit again. This is stupid. If you personally don't like Hassan Piker, that's fine. Me and Hassan disagree on a bunch of stuff. We're going to argue about a bunch of stuff over the next coming years, the rest of our life, as long as we're streaming. We'll be arguing about various things, and that's fine. People can agree with me sometimes, him sometimes. Maybe some people agree with me all the time, him all the time. That's fine.
I agree with him way more than I ever will agree with you, Bulwark Boy. But
like, what is the utility of trying to shun him and his audience right now? If you're in the pro-democracy coalition, it's moronic. So,
yeah.
Some of the people who are involved in that, I talked to some of the guys from the Third Way, and they're like, we're opposed to the war. They've posted about that. They've tweeted that clearly. Like I said, that there is some evidence that, Plattner and others have distanced themselves from Piker. And so it sounds as if there hasn't been some effect to it. But I just think in the like short, medium term, like the trajectory of this.
I mean, they can do what Keir Starmer's Labour Party did if they want, right? They can do that. If they want. So Keir Starmer's Labour Party said, we don't need them, like essentially talking about the left flank of their party. They said, if you are against Israel, it was mostly around Israel shit, but he was like, if you are against Israel, if you are, pro-Palestine, we don't need you, we don't want you. And the Labour Party, which is a long-standing tradition in Britain, I don't know how old it is, but I know it's been around for a while. It is essentially now on the way out as a political party, and the Green Party is now rising because those people that they said they don't want just moved on and found a new party to be a part of. And so if the Democrats want to do that, they can. It would spell the end of the Democratic Party, I think. And also along the way, they would obviously, split the vote and we would get fascism, like even more, but we're going to get fascism regardless if the neoliberals and centrists win, because they will always collaborate with fascists over socialists. So, yeah. Given that Hassan Piker will, as he demonstrated in 2024, urge his audience not to vote for a Democrat whose politics he doesn't find sufficiently pure, I think regarding him as an ally is foolhardy to say the least. Eat shit, Kathy, is what Mike from PA said. Democratic leaders willing to risk party damage to stop Bernie Sanders. If you don't like democracy, you can go live in Israel. I was just saying that because she has the Israel flag in her description. So, and the Ukrainian oh god, she's one of those people. You can, if you don't like democracy, you can go live in Israel. There you go. How about that? That's both a diss on her for not liking the democratic process, but also a diss on her for having that Nazi flag in her bio. Anyway, let's see. Okay, we need a funny one, people. What's this? Is this funny?
Or like, we'll...
Power to the people usually isn't funny, but we'll see. Theobon discovers what anyone with a functioning brain has discovered, that the U.S. government and both its parties are corrupt to the core and serve the interests of their donors and not the people. And Joe Rogan accuses him of losing his marbles. Rogan is a puppet for the elite.
It's all just a cat and mouse game. People are like, we'll elect the Democrats next time. It's like, but it's all the same shit has been happening forever. They haven't been helping anybody forever. They're letting fucking politicians slurp on kids. All of our fucking money goes to Israel and they're using it to fucking genocide people. It's like everybody is scared out of their wits right now. It's like our religious leaders are afraid to speak out. And it's like it's a time where it's like Satan is amongst us and our religious leaders are fucking talking about bullshit at the poll. It's just like, what is going?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
We got to get you off those antidepressants, son.
Satan is amongst us right now. Joe Rogan has had the Antichrist on his show multiple times, I think. Peter Thiel is the Antichrist. I assure you people, if the Bible is correct and there is an Antichrist figure or whatever, and we happen to be living through that right now, then yeah, it's Peter Thiel, 100%. So there you go, everybody. There you go. Let's see. What do we got? What's going on here? An Israeli, again, always take these with a grain of salt. We don't know the entire context of this clip. And sometimes people just like take a non-relevant clip and then just make it like this. Okay, so it could not be true, but I'm going to choose to believe that it is true in this particular case so that I can watch it and, you know, enjoy it at face value. An Israeli saw a Palestinian flag and started freaking out, fully convinced she had the same authority to terrorize strangers in NYC as she does in the West Bank to Palestinians. Let's see.
You better take your hands off me right now. I'll say it one time.
He's slamming that picture. If that is the case, I maybe not her because I don't like hitting girls or whatever, but if any Zionist ever fucking touches me at all, they're getting rocked, dude. Like, I will punch them in the face so fucking fast. Like, if they even dare to like graze my fucking shirt, they are gonna get clocked. Okay, so that's your warning, Zios out there everywhere. If you don't, keep your distance from me, okay? I am looking for excuses, okay? What's this?
Ain't nothing gonna break my stride.
Okay,
ain't nothing gonna break my stride. Ain't nothing gonna slow me down. And that's how I feel about this.
I saw that actual clip, I think, on my video from yesterday. Okay, what do we got, man? I need something funny. That's not funny. That's not funny. Uh-oh. Dallas Star fans sparked controversy after a video appeared to show them making a Nazi salute during the game. According to the woman who filmed it, the gesture was repeated after every goal. She reported the situation to arena staff, but no immediate action was taken. After the event went viral, American Airlines Center said it launched an investigation and reiterated its its zero tolerance policy towards hate and discrimination. This video is the America that Donald Trump dreams of. Yeah. Okay, so here's what's happening here. there's, I guess, when you chant, you do a lot of these things when you chant. These people, they seem to be doing a little bit intentionally, changing that sort of like fist pumping motion slightly different. I saw a little grin on that dude's face too, so they know what they're doing. Look. You see him? He's grinning. They're loving this shit. Yeah. Oh, well. So this must be a Canadian talk show. I already saw this though, I think. Whoa, this is wild. This is very weird to me because I see anytime I see a truck like with all this shit on it, like I will immediately assume that it is some like racist freak. Like that's just going to be my initial assumption. If I came up to it and I saw what it actually said, like this would throw me for such a fucking loop that I would be like, I don't know what to do. I have seen like when I went to some of the protests and stuff for Palestine, they like a lot of the protest leaders do have like a big ass truck or whatever. I think it's kind of necessary for, if you're going to be like a protest leader because, you drive in front basically, and then you can stand in the bed and, and with the microphone lead the chants and stuff. So, I mean, obviously you don't need that, but it's a lot easier for people to see and like follow you and all that sort of stuff. So. Okay, what do we got? All my peers turned on Israel and the Jewish people. I became an unlikely inheritor of our ancient tradition. I am an October 8th Jew. That's so funny to me. This is that free press freak or whatever. I think she I saw her go up and try to like hit on Hassan or something once. It was really weird. But yeah, she only became a Jew after October 7th. So before that she wasn't. So, I think we know where her priorities are. Okay, give me something funny. I need to get out of here. What's this? Oh my gosh. This is a pretty funny one. Fuck. New fish species found in Venezuela. Man. This must be the fish that turned into, historically in the evolutionary process, it was this fish that turned into Donald Trump one day. The genes of this fish live on through him. Okay, what else we got? Come on. Come on. Yeah, true. I mean, I've always thought this as well. Like, if Jesus was around today, like they would have been on most American Christians and American right wingers would have been on the side of executing him because he had very left leaning policy proposals and stuff. So that's a pretty accurate one. I'll give that a like. Okay, that's an ad. That's not funny. I mean, that's kind of funny, but okay. This is going to have to be the one, people, because I gotta get going. This is it says, well, that's okay. I'm not going to try to read the ramblings of Joe Biden in text form. So this is Kyle Kalinske reposting saying people are yearning for this back instead of the current pedo terrorist baboon regime. So let's go ahead and watch what everybody looks back fondly on now. Genocide Joe, our favorite old grandpa, the zombie himself, the genocidal zombie himself. Okay, let's watch it. This is gonna be the last one, people. So let's enjoy it. You better enjoy it, people.
The beer brewed here, it is used to make the brew beer in this refinery. Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lakes. The beer brewed here, it is used.
Do you remember when people were trying to convince us that he wasn't dead already? when they were trying so hard to convince us that he wasn't dead. One more time, people, one more time. I said that was the last one. I'm going to watch it again, and this is the last time, okay?
The beer brewed here, it is used to make the brew beer in this refinery. Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lakes. The beer brewed
Earth
here.
Rider, thanks to the Great Lake. Okay, that's it, people. That was a good one to end on. Good one to end on. We all miss him. We all miss our genocidal zombies of yesteryear. Okay. So, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you are watching the VOD, love you too. And that is all. This has been Technically Clay, and the stream is technically over. Bye-bye.